Standing shoulder to shoulder, there's little sign of social distancing in this field in Pakistan. Worshippers have come to mark the first day of Eid, despite advice to stay metres apart. A similar scene in Indonesia, the world's largest Muslim majority nation. Unable to travel to see loved ones for the holiday, many took to the streets to pray on the outskirts of the capital, Jakarta. While the congregations seem large in the context of a pandemic, they are tiny compared to previous years. Filmed this time last year, this is what Dhaka in Bangladesh normally looks like in preparation for Eid. Now, measures introduced to curb the coronavirus have left it unrecognisable. Normally, we see many customers coming in ahead of Eid, but this year there are far fewer. We've opened our shop for the last 4 days and sold nothing. More than 400 reported deaths and 30,000 infections prompted the country to extend its lockdown restrictions until the end of May. Confined to their homes, many will find the 3-day holiday a very different experience this year. As there is a nationwide pandemic and we can't do our Eid shopping because markets are closed, we have donated the money for all our Eid-related expenses to the poor. Even in Europe, where some countries have begun to ease restrictions, feast preparations have been hindered by rules that prevent large gatherings. I think this will be a sad Bayram for me because no one will come to visit and I will spend it alone. But I will buy groceries and cook everything just as I always do, and I will send what I make to my loved ones to enjoy at home. Restrictions or not, most are determined to celebrate the end of a long month of fasting with plenty of comfort food.
And DW reporter Aya Ibrahim joins us now for more. Aya, Eid is typically an occasion, a huge occasion in the Islamic calendar, but as we just heard, celebrations were somewhat subdued this year. Can you give us an idea of how challenging that has been for Muslims?
Sure. Well, Ramadan, Eid is really the culmination of the holiest time in the Muslim calendar, the holy month of Ramadan. And this has, the high point includes spiritual, economic, but also social aspects, all of which have been hindered by the current pandemic. So spiritually, as we've seen, the worshippers are not able to go and attend the big Eid prayers that sometimes overflow out into the streets and are too big for even the biggest mosques in the Muslim world to handle. But even beyond that, this is also a kind of a pilgrimage season where worshippers around the world, dream of the opportunity to go to Mecca to do the Umrah. And because of the pandemic, this has also been canceled this year as Saudi Arabia has decided to dampen this Umrah. Economically, this is a time where families go out and buy new things for their children or go out and spend money on outings, etc. So this might not happen this year or might not happen at the same capacity. So this has great economic implications on many businesses where Eid is actually their big season. And finally, socially, this is really, punching a hole in the social fabric of many Muslim countries, because this is a time, it's a 3-day holiday. This is a time where families get together, extended families get together, families that live across continents are able to travel and see each other. But this just isn't happening this year because of the pandemic.
Yeah, it sounds heartbreaking. Tell me, though, have worshippers been able to find workarounds, digital or otherwise, during Ramadan and Eid to mark the event somehow?
So much like other religious communities around the world, Muslims have also been vigilant at trying to, as you mentioned, organize sort of virtual prayers, as lockdown measures have been eased, come back to the mosques at a smaller capacity. But we've also seen initiatives where, for example, here in Berlin, some churches opened their doors for Muslims to come and pray in an attempt to create more space for prayer. But, all of the people that I've spoken to said, they can't wait for next year for them not to have to go through these workarounds and for them to be able to enjoy Eid and Ramadan again in the traditional way, which is being very, very close to each other.
Of course. Okay, DW reporter Aya Ibrahim, thank you for that insight.